All righty then. Michael Folks, good afternoon. Good afternoon,
David.
It is Tuesday, everybody, and we were going to have a special guest today, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So you're just going to have to listen to Michael Folks and I talk about fishing and history and life and all that fun stuff that we talk about anyway.
Yep.
Here we are. We were going to have Phil Freeman with us, but I don't know. That's all I got to say about that.
That's enough.
Yep. So, gang, it's Tuesday. We're going to talk a little bit about the fishing that's going on right now. We're going to talk a little bit about the weather. And Michael, you've been around here as long as I have. This is the coldest summer we've ever seen.
So far.
They've never seen, they just told us last week that they never saw June and July since they started recording temperatures in Southern California this cold. And it looks like August. I look at guys and I'm seeing them wearing sweats and jackets and beanies and boots and socks in the middle of August. So not good, huh?
We've had a few hot days, like there's been some hot spells for 3 or 4 days, but for the majority of it, it's been below average, which is pretty nice. I think we're going to get a hot September, October. But so far, it's been a really temperate summer, which is fine. I love it. Plenty of sunshine, but just not too much heat.
Right. Well, when you're sitting in your little office editing all day, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. I never see the light of day anyway, so what the hell?
Exactly. But historically, if we look back, when we have a late summer like this, it's really good for fishing, right?
Yeah, it usually carries all the way through. In fact, my best marlin fishing I've ever had in my life up here was at the Channel Islands on Halloween Day. We fished Halloween, and it was just unbelievable. Not another boat in sight, and there were just funnels of blackbirds and then funnels of whitebirds. And the blackbirds were all on sea lions, and the whitebirds, the terns, were all on marlin. So you just spotted the white funnel and head over there, and there's just foamers everywhere. I'd never seen anything like it. I think we had 6 fish for the day and released them all. And it was a phenomenal day. And that was Halloween. So
6 marlin at the end of October in Southern California. That's pretty spectacular, right?
Cool. It was pretty cool. It was fun. So yeah, there's a lot of fish. A guy just yesterday, one of Johnny Crean's sons, Cornelius, qualified for the tuna club with I think it's 100 and some pound bluefin on 6 thread.
Wow.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Getting a qualifying button like that on linen line and vintage tackle is just a cool deal.
And since you went down that little rabbit hole right now, why don't you explain to everybody, when you're talking about 6 thread, you're talking about linen line, it's an animal that most people that are watching don't understand. I got lucky, got to work for the treasurer of the tuna club for a while, Tony Sabatino.
Cool.
So I kind of understand, but kind of explain to our viewers, what in the hell are we talking about 3 thread? Oh my God, you're not even going to believe this.
Phil's coming?
He's here.
Right on.
A voice.
Look.
Hey, Dave, I finally figured it out.
The voice has made it.
Yep.
Yes. Can you hear us, Phil?
I can hear you just fine, Dave, Mike.
Hello, Phil. Welcome to the show, buddy. I'm glad you could make it.
We got a weird delay going on.
Yeah.
We got no sound. Try to get out and come back in again. At least you're in now. Try it again. Get out and come back in because we got no sound.
I don't think you can hear us either, David.
There, he got it.
All right.
So let's see.
So you want a crash course in linen?
How about now? Nothing? No.
You got visuals, Phil, but no audio.
We can't hear you, Phil. Nada. I got nothing.
No, me neither.
I think you got to shut off your phone and come back in again, Phil. I don't know. Hello. Can you hear me?
Hey, Dave, hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Man, I
but
could hear you a second ago.
there's a gnarly delay.
Oh, is there? Shoot. What do I do?
Make sure that your phone's not on Wi-Fi. It's not trying to connect to the Wi-Fi around you. Log out, look around, and come back in again. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
not.
It's bad.
All right, boys. I'll do it again.
Okay.
Try it again. We're
I'll be
standing
back.
by. All right. So yeah, tell us about this linen line thing.
Okay. Let's see. Horsehair was the beginning. I used horsehair for fishing line to begin with. They wove horsehair together, and the strands off the tail of the stallion was considered the best. So stallion horsehair was what we first fished with back in the day.
How about now?
Look,
How about now?
We got
it's a
you.
delay, but it's there.
Is it better?
The audio's better, but there's a delay, Phil.
Oh man, I wish I was a technical genius. Oh, hold on, I got Elon Musk sitting next to me. Hey, Elon, you know how to fix this delay crap going on here? Oh, he's sending a rocket off to Mars. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not good. The audio sucks. It's all popping and crackling.
Man. Let me chill locations and come back in 5 minutes.
All right. Okay. So okay, so we're fishing with horsehair right now.
Right, we're fishing with horsehair. That was the first line.
How do they get the horsehair to stick together in long pieces?
They wove it together. I don't know how they braided it together.
Holy criminy.
Braid horsehair together.
No way.
Yeah. And then the Chinese came up with silk. Chinese invented silk. And so silk line started to take over for horsehair. And then that was pretty much the standard until they came up with linen. And linen is basically a cotton for all intent and purposes. You know, it's just like a cotton T-shirt. If it gets all wet and you ball it up and leave it on the spool, it's going to rot. So linen line always had to be dried after you used it, which means you had to string it between trees or, you know, telephone poles or something. Because you had to dry the line every day after use, or line winders, line dryers, they had them. So when they first come up with linen, there was no standardized, no standardized weight testing, line testing. So they came up with 3-thread, which basically means there's 3 threads, and they weave those 3 threads together. And 3 threads is basically it's 1.97 per thread pounds. So they're basically 3 thread is basically 6-pound string.
All right, can you hear us now, Phil? No. So I don't know what's going on with it.
He said screw Elon Musk. You got to get Elliot.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Why we try to go a half hour early to make sure we get all the bugs out of it.
Yep.
Okay, so
3 thread basically a 6-pound test for all intent and purposes, just under 6 pound. And then the next line up is 6 thread. They call it a 6 thread. So they take 3 and they double it. So now you've got 6 strands, and each strand is basically 2 pounds. So 6 times 2 is what? 12 pound. You know, you're just under 12-pound test. And then it jumps from 6 to 9, and 9 times 3 is basically 27-pound, 28-pound string.
okay.
12 pound, 12 thread, and then it jumps up to 15 and 24 and 36. So it's basically whatever you hear. If you hear a 6 thread, just multiply it by 3, and that'll give you your line test.
All right. Can you hear us now, Phil?
Man, this sounds much better. I hope it does from my end too.
Oh, way better.
Way better.
Hey.
All right.
Named Mackie, my technical director, sent me a message that said, turn off your Bluetooth. So, Mackie, I love you.
Yep. That's all.
We do too.
And I love you too, Dave. And I love you too, Mike.
Yep. Good to see those blue eyes again, Philip, and hear your voice, your iconic voice.
Hey, Mike, your iconic voice, the guy that has brought so much artistry to I mean, you captured everybody, captured me at a young age with your film productions. They're fantastic.
Oh, thanks, Philip. I sure appreciate it. I got to tell everybody right off the bat, when I first got my license, when I first got my captain's license and started running six-packs down in San Diego, I had a little boat called the Instinct. It was a 48-foot Hawthorne. And
Beautiful.
We had no cell phones. We didn't have a satellite. We didn't have, single sideband or any of the stuff that other Highliner boats had. So every night before I'd leave the dock, we had a phone jack at the dock, and I'd plug in our portable phone and I'd call 976 Tuna, and I would get the latest dope right before we left the dock, and that's where I went to fish. So you were my guiding light for the whole first season, because I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any code groups. I wasn't talking to any other boats. And the only dope I got was yours, and it was like right up to the minute. And I just wanted to say thank you for that, because you were my guiding light first summer of my charter business.
Oh, Mike, that means the world to me. It truly does. And hey, I got to return to you for the best bachelor party, getting boarded by the Mexican Navy on my brother's bachelor party on the Instinct. What could be better than that?
Oh yeah, and I thought those kids showed up with submachine guns and bare feet, and I'm thinking we're dead. And you guys spoke such fluent Spanish. The next thing you know, they were eating out of our hands. Giving them a bottle of tequila and a stack of Playboy magazines and some beer, and they were happy. That was a pretty. Thank God you guys spoke Spanish, because it was a touchy situation there to begin with. It was iffy.
Hey, Mike, and the way you're recalling that story, it sounds like it was yesterday. What was it, like 40 years ago?
It had to have been. I think it was, at least 35.
Yeah.
It's probably
amazing, man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We've been friends for that long.
It's amazing, man. I mean, time flies when you're having fun.
Yep. Yeah. We had Mr. Captain Grossbeck on last week, or Jimmy Kingsmill. Pete was on the week before, and then Jimmy was on last week, and he was really talking about the gyros. And you were my gyros. 976 Tuna, you were my gyros for the first couple of years I ran a boat.
Man, I had a million great ideas, Dave and Mike, and one of them was actually good. So that's all you need, man. It's just one or two good ones.
Yep. You just keep plugging along.
So, gang, real quick, we jumped right in here with my buddy Phil, and I just want to give a little bit of history, because Michael and Phil are talking about history, but gang, you don't understand how pivotal this man in the middle of us right now was to our industry, and still is today with his morning briefings and all the other things. He's been in this industry for a very, very long time. Just because some of you don't know who he is, that doesn't mean nothing to Michael and I. And I told Phil this story when I was in his studio before, and it kind of caught him off guard. He was like, "You kidding me? You helped so many of us back when you first started 976 in 1987, gang. There was no code group that if you weren't in the code, if you weren't clicking with the guys, you didn't know where to go. And many, many times, like Michael just said, we would throw our quarter into the payphone and we would listen to the voice, and we would have to wait. It wasn't segmented. You would have to wait till your part came, like, where's the Barracuda biting? I'm running out of Dana Point. I'm going to run down to San Diego. And Phil was so pivotal, Michael, right? I mean,
it was it. You were the guy, Philip. You were the lifeblood for Southern California fishing.
And
boys, I owe you a prime rib lunch. Let me tell you, you're in my head way too big here this morning.
But people don't understand how pivotal you were for those of us that were in the industry. I know you knew you were very instrumental for the private fisherman, the guy going on the boat, buying the ticket. But we, the guys that were getting paid to take people fishing, used your service all the time. And Phil, you had, like you said, you had a ton of great ideas, but 976 gang, back, those of you that are new to this whole internet thing, there was no internet then, right, Phil?
That's exactly right, Dave. And the idea was really born from me, I think, working in the ticket office at Redondo Sport Fishing, and you had so much work. I mean, you're trying to get 300 people out on the barge, the half-day boats coming in, returning rent rods. The least amount of time you had to spend was with the guy calling in and saying, "Hey, how was the bite at Rocky Point?" And I watched person after person in that office. I suppose I was equally as rude at times, just like, "Hey, talk to you later." And
Just
I
say it's WFO.
there's an opening here for some kind of a report for these guys who are thirsting for this knowledge, and they get some guy basically hanging up on them every time they called into the landing because those guys were just too much work, and that's what the idea was born, Dave, and it kind of evolved from there. It just kept getting better and better and better. I got great ideas from guys like you two guys, and it just continued to grow to the point where I could actually make a living off that. It was really a lot of fun. That was something that I look back with fond memories and had a good time doing that.
That was pioneering stuff, Phil. Pioneering.
It was cutting edge because before that, we had the LA Times and we'd buy the damn paper and we'd throw every part of it away but the sports section, and we'd go to the back page and you'd look at that little area with the fish reports, and then here came Phil with 976 tuna. So then that was another, I'm just trying to help. That was another piece of the puzzle for us that were running boats for a living. You got the fish reports, but shit, you still didn't know where those fish were biting at. You knew they had 1,200 barracuda yesterday, but you didn't know where. And then you would call you'd call 976 tuna, and then bam, you knew where they were.
Yep.
Yeah, and I started, I bought a single sideband so that at some point I could start recording long range guys. I remember doing it when the Royal Polaris went down to Clipperton. I talked to Frank and organized that. And I mean, for me, as a guy that was in sport fishing, there was nothing better than to hear from one of the captains. I mean, they're almost like gods to all of us who go fishing. They hold your angling fate in their hands. They work so hard at it. And to hear from one of those guys while you're sitting at home, wow. I mean, that was cool for me. I loved hearing it. And I had a feeling everybody else would too. And surely it did take off. And that was definitely the case.
Yeah, it was awesome, Phil. It was so cool. And now Dave, I don't know if you're aware, but Dave's doing live broadcasts now. Live off the Star Lake. So he's got the guys out fishing, and they're telling them what's going on to the minute. Like right now, right here. Here's where we are, and here's what we're doing. And it's video. It's amazing.
How can it get any better than that? Not only are you getting current information with Dave's methodology there, but you get the vicarious thrill of catching a fish when you're sitting at your desk or sitting in your living room. And for fishermen, if you're not fishing, then the next best thing is either talking about it or watching it. And when it's live and you don't know what's going to happen next, well, I'll tell you, that is just awesome.
He's even getting the long range guys, Timmy Ekstrom and the guys from the Star are doing long range live feeds. It's just amazing. We sit here for an hour just with our jaws hanging open, watching them catch tuna. It's so cool.
I know. Watching a wahoo bite at a Lehos Rock or whatever. I mean, it's what a vicarious thrill people get out of that. It's just awesome.
It was the same thing we got from yours, 976 tuna, Phil. It's the same thing.
Right. And I don't want to take any credit for anything. I mean, you are the pioneer. You get all glory goes to Phil. None of this would be possible if Phil, you brought this to, like I told Michael when him and I first started working together, there was nothing better than being on Inside Sport Fishing as a captain. You felt like you made it. But I'll tell you what, Nobody called you more than I did. I was giving you reports all day long because when you and I started working together, it was like a pinnacle of my career to be featured on 976, listening to my reports on Phil. I felt like I had come full circle and I had made it to the big time, buddy. So
Yeah.
I owe a lot to you. But real quick, I just want to show everybody.
Dave, before you go any further, the dirty little secret is that you were so entertaining and so informative that it wasn't like I was doing a favor having you on. You increased the listenership. You increased the amount of people who wanted to hear the reports, the colorful, awesome reports that you did on 976. And that went both ways.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very, very much. Thank you. Gang, we can't do this podcast. We can't have great guests like Philip. We can't have Michael and I together if it's not for our great sponsors. And I just want to show you guys a quick video I made at ICAST with Promar. And then we're going to get deep into this, Phil. I got a lot of stuff to show you about what you're doing and how you're helping us all in this industry. Because every morning, you can ask Kelly, I watch the morning briefing like a knucklehead. I just sat there and watched to see what I missed. What do I not know what the hell's going on? Watch this real quick.
Okay.
I want you guys to see this. You're going to be blown away, Phil. In this video, I actually sound like I know what the hell I'm talking about. It's kind of weird.
This is the Promar Ahi booth. Now, last night at the new product showcase, I looked at some of the lures, and the nicest lure that I saw on the shelf was the Ahi Ikara. So they have their new Ikara line of jigs. These things are absolutely incredible. I'm gonna show you them up close, but we're gonna talk to Dave here. Dave's gonna run us through the new lures from Promar Ahi and tell us what the features are on the lures. So now you corrected me and said these were slow pitch jigs?
Yeah, there's slow pitch jigging is the new thing in the fishing industry. Everybody's doing the slow pitch thing. They're making rods for it and everything. So we came out with the Ikara line of slow pitch jigs. And the way that the fish react to them is absolutely incredible. Like you were mentioning to me, you could tell that they went to everything right. The hooks are perfectly weighted. Every part of the lure is weighted so that it flutters when it falls. And it looks just like a wounded bait fish. And it causes an unbelievable reaction bite. As we go through the line, we have them from 15 grams all the way to 150 grams.
Okay, so we're talking saltwater and freshwater.
Oh, yes, salt and fresh. I just did a seminar over at the bass tank, and every bass in there had the lure in his mouth at least 5 times.
First off, I just got to say the quality and the detail on these things, you can visually walk by and see that these things are built different. I mean, the tiniest details on this, it looks like a real fish. 3D depth on the eyes. I mean, these things are unbelievable. Even the way the hooks are attached, they have like heat shrink sleeves over the tie-ons. I mean, everything was thought through on these lures that I can see from.
You really have to fish with it to appreciate it. When you watch it flutter, it's incredible. And I know you couldn't see it in the product showcase how it flutters, but you can only see what you can see, but you recognized it, which was a good deal.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to try one of these in some of the invasives in South Florida. Now, if I'm
All
fishing
right,
for
gang,
bass,
if you want to pick up one of those Ikara jigs, right there above my face is the QR code. You go over to Promar, you save 15% by using my QR code. And if you're just listening while you're driving, just put in the code YSWG and the number 22 to get one of those Ikara jigs. Check that thing out. And when you're at the Promar website, you're going to be blown away by all the products. And here we go. We're almost up to lobster season. And Philip and I know a lot of people out there are going to go, oh, I did this. Well, I'm going to tell you what. I was at a point in my life, Michael, where I was financially in a really bad spot, and I had bought into this boat called the Liquid Coast Highway, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I had no idea, Michael. I didn't know. And I called up Phil and I said, hey, I got a wild idea, buddy. What if I started doing these hoop net trips? I don't even know how to spell hoop net. I don't know anything about it, but I got to do something because we are dying here. We are not making any money. And Phil goes, let's give it a try. So I did a seminar with Phil. And then every day I would call into Phil's show, and we didn't even know if it was going to work, but I would take 6 people hoop netting in Long Beach Harbor, $100 a person, give them all the beer they can drink and all the food they can eat. And I'm telling you, Phil, you and I both know no one had ever done it before.
That's right.
And we
It was a
created a
novel idea.
business. We created a business out of thin air, Philip and myself. And look at now, everything that floats, hoop nets.
Yep.
Dave, that was the beginning of such a big business, as you say. Once we get to lobster season, every single guy that floats, kayaks, big yachts, sport boats, everybody's out there lobster hoop netting now. And look what it did for Promar. Look what it did for you in your circumstance at that time. For me, getting more people interested in that, wanting to get more information about it. Man, you started something, revolution that has not seen its apex yet, I don't think.
No, but I couldn't have done it without you. And it was just an insane partnership because, as you know, both of us, Michael too, when it comes to wintertime, this industry was done back then. You just kind of rolled up, boy, but no, everybody was on 976 trying to see what Dave and Phil caught last night hoop netting.
Yep.
We brought it all
100%.
full circle.
In fact, Dave, you could make the case that for a lot of guys, the end of summer, like Labor Day, is pretty much a lot of people start putting their gear away.
Yep.
Exactly. Not anymore.
Right. Exactly.
Now with the hoop netting going on all winter long, guys are doing combo trips and all this stuff. And it was all, I wish I could say I did it because I knew all about hoop net. It was all because I needed to make some money, man. I couldn't eat. We couldn't even buy the quarter.
You get your best ideas when you're desperate like that, don't you? I mean, it certainly has been that way for me too. When the spit hits the fan and you got to make some money and you want to still do something that you enjoy in life and that you feel like you're getting some fulfillment out of it, that's when you come up with your best ideas. And plus, Dave, you put your heart and soul into it, and that means a lot also.
And then we got lucky when Kelly Girl caught that world record lobster. That didn't hurt anything.
No, not at all.
How big was that bug?
18 3/4 pounds.
Unbelievable.
And the reason why they know is because she donated it to the aquarium in Long Beach.
Right on.
And you know me, I'm about killing everything. And I was like, don't donate that. Let's eat that. But Phil, you got some really cool stuff going on, but I want to go back a little bit still. We have tons of time and I think you have the whole hour to donate to me. So I want to go back to what Michael and you were talking about before, how important the 976 and what is 976? People that are internet people don't know. Tell us what 976 was.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically in those days, in prehistoric times, there were a lot of girly talk lines that were charge lines. Girly talk because I don't want to be too explicit, and guys would pay $2 to listen to some girl chat. And I said, all right, they got that going on. Why wouldn't a fishing line work? Why wouldn't a fishing information line work where people paid X amount? And I think we started at 99 cents a call. I think we ended up at $2 a call, and at the end, but 99 cents you can call, and you can get a guy who's polite to you, enthusiastic, and well informed, hopefully, and be able to convey all that information to you in an entertaining way. And when you hung up, you felt like, whoa, that was bitching, man, and it would cost $1 to do that. And so when I first got going, I would walk every single landing parking lot and put flyers on cars. You got chased out of a lot of places because, the security guy, hey, we don't want you. And you'd politely say, oh, I'm sorry, and then try to get back there again tomorrow when the guy wasn't there. So I would do that and just kind of in the beginning, Dave and Mike, plodding along. I mean, 2 calls one day, 6 calls another day. And then one day my college professor, Pete Hoffman, called me and said, man, you got to go get the LA Times the guy over there, Earl Grutzky was his name, wrote an entire piece on how much he loves your fishing reports. And that day we had 3,000 calls. Thank you, Earl. And so it went from, this is another dumb idea to, whoa, what just happened? Just like that, lightning. It was that quick and that fast. And we pretty much never looked back, just kept going and going and going.
Overnight, it went from 2 to 3 calls a day to 3,000.
Yes. Mike, I was like, what the hell? Really? Seriously?
Yeah.
It was because it was growing organically, and that's a slow process, as both you guys know. If you just bide your time, work hard, keep plugging away, sometimes you don't get the results you want to see. They don't come too quickly. But when you get in those days, in the LA Times, I guess you could argue, is still fairly powerful. But in those days, like Dave was saying, the fish report, that's where everybody went to get their fishing information. Pete Thomas was writing great articles in the LA Times in those days. And so when it showed up in there, it drove literally, I don't know what percentage, but it drove everybody to give it a try at least.
Yep. And once they tried it, they were hooked.
Pretty much. I mean, I'm sure there were some guys that thought, who in the hell is that blowhard yelling and screaming about fishing? I'm sure you had some of that, and maybe they had a point. But a lot of people did get hooked on it because
you were all excited about Catalina blue perch. This guy's going off the charts about buttonbacks, and I'm thinking,
you know how it is, boys. You got to talk about what's going on, and why not make it entertaining, right?
You too, man. You made every single species like buttonback perch exciting.
You're cracking me up.
That was pretty cool.
So that was the genesis of it, and then it just kept going, and then it went from one single report, one call. Let me see if I can remember the line we used. One call gets it all, from Cabo San Lucas to the Channel Islands. That was the original report. We'd do the whole Baja Peninsula, and then we started to break it into sections. The LA Orange County report, the Channel Island update, San Diego inshore, offshore, the Baja update, and you could make a choice and listen to whatever it was in greater depth. I could spend the whole 3 minutes on the subject matter that you were interested in.
And you're putting all those reports up every single day.
Every freaking day, man. Every day. Kind of like the morning briefing. If you don't like what you're doing, it's impossible to do this kind of thing. It's impossible. It becomes work, whereas I pretty much wake up in the morning now, or actually I go to bed sometimes thinking about that first sip of coffee, that look at the beach, the whole thing. I look forward to it, and I hope that comes through in the reports, and it certainly gives me the stamina and the inspiration to go out and try to do a good job every morning.
You do, sir.
No. And then you went a step further. I mean, we're just going history right now, but we're going to talk about what you're doing now. But history, then you did something that got me and Michael. You did this. You went, we're going to have an update at 4:00 this afternoon to tell you exactly where the Barracuda been, or where the albacore went. Michael Folks will be calling in at 4:00 today. So guess what? Now, not only did you get me to call the first time, but now I'm going to call again at 4:30 after Michael's report. You were,
you're brilliant, Philip. Great concept, and just the determination to make it happen. The passion to make it happen.
Yeah, 100%, Dave. I mean, and Mike, that definitely was the case, And then, sometimes I'd have somebody say to me, "Hey, I'm too busy. I can talk to you at 7 tonight." And then, of course, I'd say, "Hey, Joe Schmo's going to call in at 7. Don't miss it. We'll have another special update."
Yep. Cha-ching.
Oh, yeah.
Cha-ching.
Exactly. And, there was no accounts receivable. The phone company mailed your check to you.
Yep.
So there was no accounts receivable. And, that made life really, really easy.
You got to focus on what you were doing and not having to worry about all the accounting.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, I'm not good at that. So it was perfect. It was just a dream deal for me. It really worked out great.
I don't know many fishermen that are good with accounting.
No.
I don't know. There's a few. I mean, there's a few.
Yeah.
But
Frank and Bill Cooley.
Franklin Presti.
Yeah.
Kind of good.
Cool. You have a couple guys that have been very successful in finances. But for the most of us, we just got into it because we loved to fish. We didn't care.
Right.
It didn't matter what we were doing or how we were doing it, just so long as we got on a boat. We talked about being a deckhand pinheading back in the day when I was 9 years old. I didn't get paid, but I could not wait to get up at 4:30 in the morning and be the first one at the landing.
Yep.
Just to get to go ride on the boat.
Yep. And scrub the boat and clean and do all the work. And you couldn't wait to do it, right, Mike?
Couldn't wait to get back and do it the next day. Saturdays and Sundays were just full speed fish.
And Phil and I've been on his podcast. He's been on mine before. We talk about what a big day it was when we got our hip boots. You thought you had made it.
Yep.
Oh my God, you wore that like a badge. I got my pair of hip boots. Oh my, we couldn't even carry them around, our little tiny asses and our little legs, but we had them, boy, and we were trying.
Never take them off.
Yeah, I kept trying to figure out ways to wear them into the supermarket or, I wanted everybody to know that I was, yeah, exactly.
Yep. And I remember my first Westerner crew shirt. I got one of the old denim shoe shirts, the button-down ones before everybody was going to T-shirts. I was it. I was in heaven. I had my hip boots, my waders, and I got a crew shirt from the Westerner, and it was I'd never take it off.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then
I'll call you right back.
I watch my two boys go through the same thing. They feel the same way, and now they're both avid fishermen. And Patrick has a podcast back there in Florida now, so it's nice to see that move from generation to generation.
That's what the sport's all about.
Yes, 100%.
And gang, always on Tuesdays, we do the history of sport fishing. And Michael and I are so happy that you're here, Phil, because for us, you are the history. I mean, Michael went on to do great things with Inside Sport Fishing, but the two of you guys were it in Southern California to be recognized. My father used to talk about the two of you all the time. And when my dad would talk about somebody, he didn't respect a lot of people, but he respected both of you in the industry because you guys brought he would tell me Phil Freeman and Michael Folks made our industry relevant. You guys did, man. It was part of the history.
Your father is a historic figure who's done so much in this business. And to hear that, Dave, that makes me feel so good. And I got to tell you, I mean, I'm very, very humbled. I look at Mike Folks and think that he had a way bigger impact than me. I mean, his films, the professionalism, the drama, the vicarious thrill, the appeal to such a broad audience. Who wouldn't want to see a guy fighting a 300-pound tuna? Everybody wanted to see that. Mike, Dave, man, I'll tell you, it's really an honor to be with you guys today.
Likewise, Philip. And you know as well as Dave and I do, all of that just came from our hearts.
Yeah, 100%.
It was not a job. We didn't go out and get a job. It was just from within us that we decided, I want to do this. I want to see if we can make something work here. And all three of us have basically etched out a little sliver in history based on our passion. And yours, Philip, came through in your voice unequaled with your passion. It was I'd get so pumped up listening to you talk. I'd jump off the boat and say, all right, guys, I know where the fish are. We're going to go get them.
I love it. Yeah, like kind of a Newt Rockney, halftime speech to the Notre Dame team, and they go out there and mow somebody down, kind of like that.
Yep.
So, Michael, you ever fish the Sierras? You ever go up to Mammoth?
Oh, I love it up there.
Okay.
Alper's Lake.
This is the craziest story ever. And Kelly and I, we we love levining. We go up. When I was living in Cali, we would go up every year. That was part of our thing, and we would always try to see something different. We would stop at a different little museum, or we'd stop at a different thing. But we drove by Manzanar 100,000 times if we drove by it once. Okay, and Kelly goes, we should go in there and really see what happened to the Japanese people during World War II. We should go in there. And so that was our mission, not knowing anything. We went in there. We were there right when the doors opened in the morning. That was our plan, to spend some time at Manzanar and see what it's all about. We went through the tour. We went in. We sat down in the little theater, and we're sitting on the little bench. And all of a sudden, the movie starts. And the narration starts, and Kelly grabs my arm and she squeezes it as hard as she can. And she goes, you know whose voice that is? And I was all, wait a second. I go, oh my God, it is. Phil Freeman, the voice, is narrating the movie at the Manzanar. Oh my God. Talk about that for a minute, Phil, making me cry.
Hey, Dave, that was such an honor. Corey approached me and asked me would I be interested in doing it. And of course, once again, I was very humbled. That story, such a dark part of the American historical, the American history, and to bring it to life that way. And he did such a great job with it. That was truly an honor. And I know that played like internationally and ended up in New York. So there was some Rotten Tomato stuff. There was critiques on there, and I'm like, oh my God, I really don't even want to read what they said about the narration. And some big time guy, he didn't exactly say this is the greatest narrator in the world, but he didn't say anything really bad. He said they chose this big voice guy, and he did an adequate job, I think he said, or something like that. And I was like, oh, I'm good with that, man. I'm good on a big stage like that. I'll take that. And it's a magnificent story. It's a beautiful story, Dave. Like you said, it could bring a tear to your eyes, and it really brought home the history of that very dark chapter of American history to all of the anglers and made it relevant to everybody who likes to fish.
Yeah, it was like, you and I with our sobriety in our lives, it's a moment where you stop and you go, wait a minute, here we are again. There is a God. I'm sitting here at Manzanar in the theater, listening to my buddy Phil talk. This was just a moment in time that it's just crazy that happened. So
yeah, it really is crazy. Funny thing, you guys both knew Eddie McEwen, I'm sure. And Eddie's a guy that I had a great deal of love for, and I loved Eddie very, very much. And I had a VHF radio, a 10 dB radio on my antenna on my house. And for whatever reason, guys, that thing was in a position where I would call Eddie, and he'd be below calling Eddie, 120 miles down there, maybe a little bit further than that. And he'd go, your voice thunders down like God from the heavens when you come up at VHF. And he used to crack me up. I really love that guy and miss him dearly. He was a really good guy.
Yeah, he was. He was a legend in the industry, that's for sure. So right now, gang, this is something, and I didn't ask your permission, Phil, but I tore a little piece of your morning briefing off this morning to show everybody what you're doing right now. So check this out with no permission. Here we go.
Thank you, Dave.
Talk weather is it's going to get a little windy out behind San Clemente Island and pushing up into the northern sector. We'll watch that for you very closely, but it's going to get breezy out there for some of you. And when I say for some of you, I mean actually that the larger boats can handle it. Some of the smaller boats cannot. If you're a private boater, you definitely want to check that weather out and be extra careful, no question about it. I was talking to Mark Paisano Jr. He runs the Amigo out of 22nd Street Landing. He said when he's out there on Tanner Cortez Bank, they're catching that pretty good grade bluefin tuna. And it's biting pretty well, like 20 to 40 pound stuff. When you start to come off the bank, he says you see.
That is the morning briefing. That was today, gang. I wanted it to be relevant to what's going on. Phil does this every freaking morning, where he's at on the planet, gang. That's a big deal. That's a lot of time. And you put out some phenomenal information. Like I said a half hour ago, I'm watching it in the morning. Kelly's going, Jesus, do we have to just fishing all the time? I'm like, well, I got to make sure Phil isn't telling my people stuff that I don't know yet.
Oh, Dave, I was kind of hoping. I appreciate the relevance, but I was hoping you'd play the one where I got wiped out by the tsunami down there. I
Yeah,
don't know if you
no.
saw that, but I
Yes,
got
I did.
just creamed by a big wave one morning down there.
Did you really, Phil? Oh, God.
Yes, he did.
On camera, Mike.
Oh, jeez.
I got freaking doused, man. I really got doused. It was great. Funnier than hell.
But the reason, Michael, is he gets so into his reports, he forgets that the ocean's right behind him.
Yeah, exactly, Dave. Never turn your back on that big, beautiful Mother Nature, that ocean. And I do that all the time, and I get lost in what I'm talking about. And that particular morning, a big wave just freaking doused me, man. It was pretty funny.
Maybe he's got it there.
So I'm throwing, no, I'm not going to find it, but I'm throwing this up. This is Phil's page. You can listen to the morning briefing on here every day. Plus he has great podcasts, and he has when you guys sit down with Sam De La Torre and all the different things you do, gang, you want to go subscribe to Phil's channel, and you want to hit the notification button because he goes live all the time and you don't want to miss anything. It's super important to subscribe to his channel, hit the notification button, and that's it right there. Friedman Adventures on Spotify, Apple, Threads, X, wherever you find your social media, you're going to find Phil. He's carved out a great little spot back in 1987. He's not new to this. He's been in this for a long time.
No question.
Yeah, I know. I don't look a day over 95. I know, but yes, I've been around a long time.
Yep. There's his Instagram page. You can find him right there on his Instagram page. And then the morning briefing, this was this morning. I'm just throwing up some stuff. I just grabbed stuff and tried to grab as much as I could to kind of highlight you, Phil, because you mean a lot to myself and Kelly Girl. We know what you did for us. And we're pretty happy.
Dave, the feeling's mutual. And same to you, Mike. I couldn't be happier to be on with two finer human beings than you two guys here today. It's truly an honor, and man, we got to get together and have some fun one of these days.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Feel the same way about you, sir, and David.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
No, we're blessed to have good friends like you guys. I consider you guys both really good friends of mine, and I'm super stoked that you decided to figure out how to use your phone so we didn't miss this great opportunity to be on here with you today. This is cool.
Yeah, hey, Mackie, one more time. Mackie's watching. Thank you, Mackie.
Oh yeah, Mackie, thank you. It's super clear. The audio is great. Everything's matching, right, Michael?
Yes, sir.
So
there is a God, Dave, like you said, my higher power and Mackie combined to save the day.
Yeah, absolutely. As you see what's going on in the industry today, Phil, you and I and Michael, we all know that we got to get as close together and be as connected as we possibly can. Michael lives in a city that you and I, we can't fish anymore, Laguna Beach. And it's super important for those of us that are carving out this niche in social media to make the world aware of the things we're up against here in Southern California, because as Southern California goes, the world goes, and they do not want you to fish. Michael has a thing in the history of sport fishing with Frank Lopresti, how Frank says he knows there's entities out there that don't want us to fish anymore. It's so unbelievable, Phil, to think about that.
Yeah, I mean, Dave, you know, it's about fishing, and it's not about fishing. It's about going outside. It's about appreciating nature. It's about putting your toes in the sand. It's about catching a fish. I mean, like a year after Instagram was born and teenage girls started to get on Instagram and stay on Instagram, the level of cutting, actually, you know, how some people will cut themselves, went up 200% against with adolescent girls. Being on these phones, unless you're watching Michael Folks, Dave Hansen, and Phil Friedman 24 hours a day, that's okay. But any of these other things, I mean, going outside, participating in the great outdoors, getting some vitamin D, those are all essential parts of a happy life. And there's people out there who are trying to take that away, and they all come at it with this: we're saving the environment, we're saving the fishies, you're evil if you're against us. It's all BS. It's all a big game. Man, I'm telling you, I'm so happy. My boys love the great outdoors. I'm very confident that my grandkids, my kids are going to point them in the direction, and the work that you two guys do to get people outdoors to go fishing. But it's more than a fishing trip. It's bonding with your kids. It's getting that vitamin D. It's seeing something that's greater than you are, this beautiful Eastern Pacific or wherever you find yourself, and realizing the benefits both emotionally and physically that being outdoors and going fishing gives each and every one of us.
Yep, absolutely. There's no definition for what a person can experience at the end of the line. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how old you are. Doesn't matter what you're fishing for. That experience of what happens at the end of the line is so unique, so connected to nature that it's just one of the greatest, if not the greatest sport in the world, because of all the intangibles that the sport offers. You know, yeah, obviously I love stuff with a 10-pound calico. I'd go out of my mind. You know, or a nice spotted bay bass or a big, whatever, bluefin, whatever. Yeah. But it's that experience that makes it so special.
That is so true. I mean, most of those experiences that we've had fishing, you'll remember those more than you'll remember some, like your big birthday bash. I won't say anniversary because I don't want to get in trouble, but like my graduation from Loyola Marymount, I vaguely remember that, but I sure as hell have just about every moment of the first time I took my kids to the East Cape and they caught a bunch of marlin and roosterfish and yellowfin and tuna. I got all that indelibly etched in my brain. That's all there, and it always will be.
That's so cool. That's what it's all about. It's what the sport is all about. It's the intangibles. And the people that don't fish, the people that are making our laws, the NGOs and the commissions and all these extreme environmentalists, they don't have a clue. They've probably never set foot on a boat. If they did, they probably started puking. So they hate the sport. They don't understand anything about it. And they just think, oh, fishing's bad and we have to protect the environment at all costs. Well, we need to protect the illegal aliens too and make sure that they've got their rights to vote and their phones and their houses and their places to live and their medicine and their Medicare and all the things that we've worked our asses off to make happen. But we got to make sure that they get all their stuff first. And we just need to take the rights of the fishermen away because they could harm the fishery someday. And you cannot hurt a fishery with a rod, a reel, and a piece of string, period.
Yep. You know, Teddy Roosevelt was a guy that he started the national park system, but he didn't come up with the idea to set aside a piece of territory and then just leave it there. The idea was he wanted the common man to have a place to go to experience nature. He set things aside so that you and I, the common man, could go out and experience it. And the way that it's approached nowadays is, let's just take this and block it off to everybody. Nobody gets to experience it. It's over with. It's done. And that just seems foolish to me. It really, really does.
There's no common sense to it whatsoever. It's completely extreme environmentalist mentality. You know.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. So, and like Frank said, if they get it, if they take it away from us, we're not getting it back. So,
there's no freaking way.
No, there's not turning it back. There's no way. They're not going to open up the MPLAs. They're going to extend them. You know, they're not going to rotate them. They're not going to do like a crop rotation. They're just going to, let's lock. We're not going to touch that. We got that secured. And let's go after the next era. Let's go after the sand bass. Let's ban sand.
How many freaking times have you seen the government put a tax on something and then say a few years later, hey, we're going to remove that tax?
Yeah.
That never happened.
No. once they get it in your pocket, they're not letting their hands out. But
That's
hopefully things are changing.
You got to be hopeful that they are.
Yep, I am. I'm very hopeful that we've got some common sense coming back, infusing itself into our government.
Yeah, because it is we the people. Now we're starting to understand it is we the people.
And previously, David, it's been of the money, by the money, and for the money.
Yeah.
Sorry, it had nothing to do with us as human beings. It was of the money, for the money, and by the money, period. And that's why they're freaking out, because they're getting their head pulled out of the trough. And what are we going to do? I've been sucking off this government trough my whole life.
Yep. Well, I'm doing my very best on a daily basis on the podcast to make everybody aware of what's going on. You know, it costs me a phenomenal amount of viewers and a phenomenal amount of money, but I know in my heart I'm doing the right thing, because we the people, it's time. It's we the people. And Phil and I and Michael sit around here and we giggle and laugh about our past and where we came from. I can't imagine that my grandkids, and Phil, your grandkids, and Michael, all the children that you touch on a daily basis with your history of sport fishing, that they're not going to be able to do what the three of us did. Can you imagine?
Right. Awful.
I can't even imagine not being able to pick up a rod and go down and fish. I can't even imagine what life would be like not being able to fish. So,
and the reason I bring that up, Philip, is because Michael's history of sport fishing brought this to light to me. And this is how we love to end the show, is to talk about this and make we the people aware of what our country was founded on. This country was founded by outdoorsmen, Philip. These guys, George Washington carried a little tackle box with him everywhere he went. I didn't know that. They didn't teach us that in school. And you're a school teacher, Phil. You didn't teach me that. Michael did on the history of sport fishing. My God, it's the most incredible docu-series you've ever seen. There's a part in here where he gets so deep into the history of the United States of America, and he tells this story, and I make him do it every week on the show because it's that powerful of a story. I put the QR code up on the screen, gang. You guys have to check out this docu-series. But Michael, talk about the founding fathers and what they did for us.
Well, it's the most unique thing I found in our research about the history of sport fishing, and how it wove itself in the very fabric of America's soul back when the first colonists arrived and they were fishing for survival. I mean, nobody was fishing for sport. It was like farming and hunting. You had to know how to fish in order to survive. And our forefathers back in 1732, along the shores of a place called the Schuylkill River, which runs right along the banks of a place called Philadelphia, these guys got together as fly fishermen and formed a fishing club called the Schuylkill Fishing Club in 1732. And under the guise of this fishing club, they would meet and discuss what it would take to declare our independence from Great Britain. And had they been caught, they would have been hung for treason. So fly fishermen, outdoorsmen, our forefathers got together under the guise of a fishing club, wrote the Declaration of Independence, wrote the Constitution of the United States, and that's how our country was born. It was born by and from and for and through fishermen, which is it gives me chills every time we talk about it.
It's incredible, right, Phil?
Oh my God, beautiful, Mike. That is really awesome to hear.
That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool stuff.
They didn't teach that. They didn't teach that to us in school. That's for damn sure.
No.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Go ahead, Michael.
I wanted to, Phil, how are you doing today? Besides your morning reports, what else? What's going on in your life that's exciting?
Well, we are doing a lot of work, across the border with our sending goods down to our Mexican brothers and sisters down there. We keep doing that, so that charity work continues. We're going to do a trip to Ensenada, a guided trip in September. We have a couple charters, coming up on the Apollo and the Amigo, and we're going to continue to push this outdoor theme, something you guys talked about and highlighted, pushing how important it is for kids to get outdoors. fishing is one of many ways you can do it. It's the favorite way of all of us, but getting kids outdoors, off their phones, improving their mental health, all of those things are super, super important to us. So we're going to keep heading in that direction for sure, and helping our brothers and sisters south of the border. It's a big one for us. We've been able to really do a lot of good down there.
And you've been doing that for over 30 years, haven't you? Over 30
Yeah,
years.
I mean, I got brainwashed when I was a kid. My parents sent me down with a Catholic priest to Costa Rica for a year, and I worked in the Catholic missions there. And then I spent 2 years in Mexico right after that, in an Indian pueblo in Guerrero and Acapulco, Mexico City. So I lived there for a couple of years. And so, yeah, I got brainwashed at an early age that giving back to people who are less fortunate is a good thing to do.
Well, what you're doing is a perfect example of what Dave and I have been saying on the show all along. When people ask us, what can I do? What can I do to help our fishery? What can I do to make a difference? Nobody cares what I say. Nobody cares what I do. Nobody cares how I vote. Nobody cares how I feel. But what you can do, what all of us can do, and it's a perfect example of what you're doing, Phil, is take a kid fishing. Introduce somebody to fishing. If you just introduce a kid to fishing, you're doing your part. It doesn't have to be your own kid. Just take a kid fishing, introduce them to the sport. Let that be their day, and make sure they have the time of their life, even if it's just catching a mackerel or a smelt or a little sand bass or something. It doesn't matter, as long as they get to pull on something. Take a kid fishing, and you're going to really help secure the future of our generations of the sport.
That is the best advice I've heard today. Absolutely, Mike. And there's a lot of heroes out there, fathers, uncles, neighbors, who do that every single day. And we take our hats off and salute those people.
Unsung heroes.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of my good friends, Devo, wants to make sure. He used to run sport boats for my dad in Dana Point, Phil. He said make sure to tell you hello. He's on here right now. So from Devo,
love you, man. Thank you.
And I remember when we got our first cell phones on the boats, and my dad told us, do not call 976. I don't want you guys calling him all day. Wait till you get to the dock and call Phil. Wait till you get to the dock.
That's funny.
Yep. It was good to have you here. Tell everybody how to find you, Phil. And I know you got to get going. I told you an hour, and we're 2 minutes over. So.
Hey, everybody, you can find me at Friedman Adventures. Easy way to remember that. Friedman Adventures, and pretty much everywhere: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Mike, Dave, what a true honor for me to be with you guys today. God bless you both. Continued success, and I hope to see you really, really soon.
You too,
we want to get back on your podcast, both of us. So hopefully soon, Phil.
Anytime.
You have a great rest of your day. Go carry on. Keep doing what you're doing, and we'll keep watching you, buddy. Thank you.
All right, everybody.
God bless you guys.
God bless.
Take care.
And everybody else that's watching today, thank you very, very much. We'll have a great show with you tomorrow. We're going to be bringing back the River Cat tackle. We're going to bring John back on the show tomorrow. We're going to be talking about catfish fishing and saving fishing across the United States. That's what it's all about. And Michael, thank you for another great Tuesday. It's always a pleasure. And then we're working right now on a really good guest for next Tuesday. I'll let you know as we get closer if I get him or not. But I'm working on it. He's working on it. We're both trying to see if he can be out of the air for the day. So we'll see what happens. That give you kind of a clue of who it might be. Thank you all very, very much for being on the show today. Great audience, big group of people, all the love we saw and all the comments. We both really appreciate that. And I just wanted everybody to know how important Phil was to both of us, Michael, as we trudge through our industry. Phil was right there for us, and he still is, gang. So don't miss out on watching him. And we'll see you all next Tuesday with Michael, and we'll see you all tomorrow with me and John Collins from River Cats Tackle. Have a great